So in 2016, I set out on a personal mission to engage with biologists, philosophers of science, mathematicians, and geneticists in order to better understand evolution. Here are some of the things that I learned. They tell me that Darwinian theory has already been debunked by biologists, that many biologists suggest that random mutation and natural selection have long been recognized by many evolutionists themselves to be insufficient to account for the complexity of life. Neutral drift, which is just the changes that occur between me and my children, the natural changes in DNA between me and my children. Neutral drift is quantitatively more important than natural selection in understanding genetic differences between organisms. Furthermore, the mechanisms of evolution and their relative importance are continuously subject to careful scientific examination and revision, so careful examination of the evidence has not been avoided. Here's what they say, I'm quoting them. Evolution is both about the mechanisms by which change occurs over time and the theory of universal common descent. The mechanism by which change occurs and the theory of universal common descent. That's what evolution is about today. It's no longer that Darwinian evolution that I spoke about. This is what they talk about today. Any biologists in here? Okay, good. Let me interject something on this. Commonness, common descent versus uncommonness. Humans have about 20,000 protein coding genes. So on our DNA, we have about 20,000 segments that will be the code for the building of the enzymes that build our body. But that's only 1.5% of DNA in the entire genome. And it's within that 1.5% that common descent studies are primarily, though not exclusively, focused. So in other words, all of universal common descent is built around 1.5% of the DNA. So when they say we are 99.9% the same as a chimpanzee, that is correct. Our genome is, when you look at 1.5% of our DNA. That's what that means. So, a large-scale project instituted in 2003 by the U.S. National Human Genome Research Institute, which, by the way, is not a religious organization at all, called the Encyclopedia of DNA Elements, ENCODE, seeks to determine the role of the remaining 98.5% of the genome that was formerly called junk DNA, but better called intergenic regions. There is ENCODE evidence that part or even much of the intergenic regions have regulatory elements that can affect gene transcription. That's the building of RNA that constructs the enzymes that regulate or build a biological system. So the uncommonness is noted in the intergenic regions, not the common 1.5% protein coding regions. When you look at the 1.5% region, the theory of universal common descent is an extraordinary theory. We're looking now at the other 98.5%. Also, work on orphan genes, also called ORF-ANs, casts new light on the uniqueness of some genetic information. Orphan genes are considered unique to a narrow taxon, generally a species. Therefore, orphan genes are markers for uncommonness. When I first started researching this in 2016, just 2 years ago, some of the geneticists said, yeah, ENCODE, orphan genes, we're only talking about a few hundred regulatory elements. Now in 2 years, it's swelled to several thousand regulatory elements in this intergenic region. And it's growing all the time. So it's becoming harder and harder to dismiss this now. What's never been shown is how a body plan changes, which is the differences between us and dogs and tigers and monkeys. I mean, the mechanism for the change is unknown. A massive functional change of a body part would require multiple concerted lines of variation. Sure, one can suggest multiple small changes ad infinitum, but the concerted requirement of multiple changes all in the same place and at the same time is impossible to chemically fathom. One day the requisite chemical basis might become apparent so that the questions can be answered, but present-day biology is far from providing even chemical proposals for this functional change, let alone a data-substantiated chemical mechanism. What biologists will often give to me is they'll give me, here is the immune system. Look at how the immune system evolves. And I'll concede. You want to call this evolving? It is evolving. Look at how the immune system does this. It is all of a sudden it's confronted with something new and it will morph and change. But my argument is it has always remained an immune system. It didn't become a digestive system. It didn't become an auditory system. The system remains the same. Yes, you have changes within the system, but you never see jumping across, nor can you propose how it even might do that. I'm not even asking you, I said, I'm not even asking you to show me how it's done, how you would change an immune system into some other system. Just show me what is the proposal for that? Nothing. Remember, it's about the mechanism of change. That's their own words. All I can say is it is a theory that deserves further study. But to go and to project it as if we are clear on this and it is fact is wrong. It is a lie to do that. It is a lie. It is a lie to project to people that we understand the formation of life. It is a lie because we don't. We are absolutely clueless on the origin of life. And on universal common descent, it is a fantastic theory worthy of further research. But it is not a fact. And it should not be projected as such, because what happens is when we as scientists lie to the general public, they disbelieve us not just on that lie, but on many other things that we tell them. And that's why there is such, in my view, chasm between the general public, 100 million people in this country that aren't buying into evolutionary theory, and 100 other million people saying, why are those first 100 million so stupid not to believe this? We have so much fact around. Because you lie to them. Because you project it as something that it's not. If you projected this is our theory, this is the best we've got going right now. There are some real holes that we don't understand. Then that's okay. But when you project it to them as fact, and if they don't buy it, they are stupid for not buying it, then you're going to have this chasm remain, and they're going to distrust you not just on this, but on many things across the areas of science. The end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Torr.